Hey guys, this is Cam Interviews. We are here with Tonight Alive. You guys left the studio before you embarked on this tour, so what was that like, kind of leaving something very important, you know, like a full-length like recording process to come and embark on something just as fun but different?
It was much needed. We really needed to get a change of scenery from the studio and, you know, new oxygen in a way. We've been looking forward to this tour for a long time, and this is definitely like the sun between the clouds. As much as we're enjoying making the record, we're really putting everything into it. So we've been working hard there, and this is kind of really nice to break things up.
Been writing so much as well, like in between tours. So we finished the song literally the day before we went into the studio, so we were concentrating so hard on that. And then, yeah, David Bennett just taught us a new one. And for a month. And so we were, much needed, I think. But now I'm kind of itching to get back to kind of finish it. Really looking forward to that.
We're people that our mind's always in two places. We're never fully here. And, you know, in a way, this has actually been probably one of the funnest tours we've ever had in America. Funnest isn't a word, but like we're really enjoying ourselves. Like these shows rock, the people rock, and everywhere we're going, there's something to do. A lot of our earlier tours in America, we found ourselves in parking lots and Walmarts and, I don't know, just not using our energy. Whereas this tour, we've like spent a lot of energy and had a lot of good times. So, and we're not even halfway. So
yeah, we traded in Walmart for Whole Foods, and we
that's true.
We went kayaking and bike riding in Texas, which I didn't even know Texas had water.
I know.
So
we hired mopeds in Florida.
Yeah.
We're just having a blast, actually.
Is that kind of like something that you guys have never done before, like left the studio mid-recording? Is that something you guys have ever done?
Actually, it is. It is. Our last record was exactly the same. We have always been a band that prioritizes touring. And I think that's at times been a bit of a disadvantage to the band. As much as we love playing live and playing to our fans and traveling and stuff, it's definitely been prioritized over everything else. So despite the fact that we're doing it again on our third record, it's definitely a point in time where we're realizing we've got to put a few things before being on the road. But it is good to have perspective.
So did you guys, like, once you got on this tour and you were starting to, you know, get some fresh air, is there any like moments in like your thinking that you were like, oh, you know what, I'm starting to think of what we were just recorded, maybe we should do something different? Like, did it ever make you double think what you had just recorded?
Not double think, but more perspective on the song and where it was at. We've got like back the roughs of what we did. So I've been able to work on guitar parts and all that kind of stuff and see what's working and what's not working. And I've been on the phone to David every kind of second day just talking about what we're going to do when we get back, which I think is really quite great. I'm happy that we've had that time to kind of look back, because we've had some of these songs for like a year and a half, 2 years. So now it's all kind of coming together and it's a lot more cohesive. But we've needed this time to kind of do that and say, okay, this has worked, this hasn't worked, what are we going to do to make it all kind of work? I knew that was going to sound like that, that's why I said it.
You had 45 songs to choose from going into this. So what was the process like for that? I've never heard of a band having 45 songs, trying to narrow them down to like 11, 12, 13.
It's ridiculous.
I think
it was stupid.
The big thing about that, though, was it wasn't like it took that many songs to get to a point that we were really happy with.
That's true.
So we like wrote a bunch at the start, realized that wasn't what we wanted to do anymore. Then we kept writing and kept crying and, you know, doing all this kind of stuff until we got to like 11 songs that we were like, okay, this is what it is, or 12 songs or 10 songs. Or
when we were in the studio, we already knew what we wanted the track listing to be. So we went into this meeting with David to choose the track listing, us already knowing what we were really going to be adamant about. And we went through every song we wrote since The Other Side. and that's every complete song. There's 45 of those, but there's a lot of unfinished ideas. And we actually were able to divide it into genres, basically, and phases of what we were going through between these two album processes. Like, there were definitely things where we were trying to live certain dreams, I guess. So there are songs that kind of sound like Green Day. There's one that reminds me of Census Fail, Yellow Card. There's something that reminds me of Blink. There's these things that we were working through. So I kind of always say this about my style sense, like fashion-wise, that I'm always trying to live out a dream of a childhood. And our album writing process was kind of like that too. So the sound changed 3 or 4 times until we got to a place where we've written an album we love. Yeah.
So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit too. You said in a previous interview that this record has some influence from like Linkin Park, 30 Seconds to Mars, Limp Bizkit, whatnot. So, I mean, this album is heavier then? Is that safe to say? Is it something... How'd that happen, I guess?
We thought it would be. But it's got a bit of a divide in it. And I think our fans understand that we've always had a bipolar sound. With What Are You So Scared Of, and the other side, there are definitely like the headbangers, and then there are the ones where you reach in your heart and like shake it or whatever. So yeah, that has remained the same on this record. It's got a bit of a split genre happening.
Yeah, I think the main thing we took from those bands and what we wanted to try and do is to make it sound big. I don't know, like soundscape wise. Instead of just having like 2 guitars, bass, drums, like we have for the past 2 records. We've written a lot on like piano and keyboards. There's going to be a lot more of like that factor and just a completely different, really, soundscape. And the hardest part for us was to try and figure out how we were going to do that as Tonight Live, because me and Jenna kind of wrote all these songs, not really thinking about like how we were going to do it as a band. So that was a huge challenge for us. But Matt and Cameron and Jake are such great musicians that they really melded. It did take a lot, and David Bendeth really like put them through the ringer to do it. But we finally got there, I think.
Yeah, it's just a different way of playing and different skill set to palm muting and chugging and alternate strumming. It's just...
We didn't want to do that again. I mean, I feel like we only have a certain amount of chances, and we've already done like that kind of record with What Are You So Scared Of. We've already done like the dark rock record with The Other Side. I mean, so we just didn't want to do the same thing again.
Yeah. And what you were just saying reminded me of this thing Tyler said to me. I said, Tyler of Issues was talking about the fact that you should never have to explain your artistic integrity. Like, your choices as an artist should never have to be explained or, I guess just explained makes enough sense. So, yeah, it's interesting. Every time we talk about the record, even though it's not even finished, we always find ourselves trying to explain it. But I really think it makes sense to us, and I think it makes sense to other people too.
So, like, what's one thing from this record that you guys could pin as like something you're most proud of, like something that you could never accomplish before on previous records that you've definitely accomplished like throughout this release?
Great question.
For me, I feel like how the songs make me feel, and that with these songs, they still make me feel the same way as when I heard them a year and a half ago, which I can't say about any of our other songs. And that's something we really concentrated on, and not caring about genre, which was a huge step for us as well. Not caring about what it had to sound like, more caring about that it needed to make you feel something, and it doesn't matter if it was a dance track or whatever. As long as it made you feel something, you can work out the rest. So I'm very proud that these songs definitely still make me feel something, even though I've heard them a million trillion times and they're not even finished yet.
Yeah, I think lyrically, I realised on stage actually at Brisbane Soundwave, I realised I'm practicing what I'm preaching. Like, not for the first time, but for the most genuine point of my life. I felt like everything that I say to our fans, everything I say on stage or in our lyrics, whatever, I was like, I really, really believe what I'm saying, and I'm actually living what I'm saying, not just hoping to live that way. Because What Are You So Scared Of, our first full-length title, was actually something I used to say to myself in high school, and that just kind of became a motto for me, an internal kind of thing. And yeah, it's just nice that 5 years later, well,
maybe four.
I'm going to turn 23 this year, and that really freaks me out. So, but it's nice to say that, like at this age, finally.
You were 17, I think, when we recorded that. 17, or did you just turn 18?
I was 18, yeah.
18. So yeah,
but,
4.
I mean, those songs were written a year and a half, 2 years before that. So it's like, anyway, I guess it's just another one of those perspective things. I feel like we're constantly growing up. It's not like as if we're fully there yet, but it's not over yet. It's just nice to be able to stand in one place and.
But I think there has been a part that we have grown up in. We have realised the people that we are and the band that we are and what we want to say and how we want to affect people with our music. So that's really solidified in this. I think the other side was kind of like a selfish album for us.
It totally was.
It was Jenna's way to kind of get out all her, demons, and we just, and the band went along with that, and that was because everything was hard for everyone at that time. But now it's like we're going more outward than we are inward. So seeing how we affect people that listen to our band and how we can help that.
Yeah. Sorry, just one more thing on that. There's a great Dalai Lama quote that I can't remember right now, but it talks about the importance of universal awareness and responsibility. And I think that really applies to this record. And if you're watching this, I'm going to try and find that quote and follow up on that.
Tweet it.
I will tweet it in response to this interview.
Yeah, so I mean that kind of leads to what I want to talk about lyrics. What are some topics that you guys talk about on this record that you've never kind of touched on before? Something that changed with age or something like that, or a stage that is altered for you.
I'm like digging right now. I'm just trying to like rake through some lyrics that are on the record. I mean, a lot of it is still talking about fear of judgment, self-expression.
There's a song on there about
self-reflection.
There's a song on there about world issues.
That's so true.
I mean,
I love that.
And we've never done that before. We haven't felt like we're in the position to kind of offer our opinion on something like that.
That's absolutely right.
But I feel like now that we're kind of growing up and I'm about to turn 25, and we have travelled the world, and we've seen these things that we can finally talk about this now. So there is a song about that, which was kind of scary.
World issues and world responsibilities.
That was scary to do that as well, because it's like, oh my god, what kind of band are we turning into? But it really kind of came together, and it fits really well with everything else.
I love that song. It's kind of political and environmental and emotional,
but in a Tomato Live way.
Yeah, everything on the record is genuine. I'm trying to think of some more stuff. A lot of it is definitely just personal, reflection and self-acceptance, but it's on a different level now, I think.
Is there features on the album, and is there a date or title that the album has, or can it not be announced?
Yeah, no, I can't share that information yet.
We have a title.
But I love the title, and I'm so excited that it just makes sense. Fuck, it just feels so good to have that moment where you're like, that's it. It's just like the light bulb happens. We were in the car, we were in a van in Japan at the beginning of the year, and I just was like, Whakaio. The title of the album is... Anyway.
Blank.
So there's that. I can't tell you when it's going to be released.
I mean, with that as well, we've never had that. We've never had that before. We knew the title before we went in to even do the record, and that's never happened for us before.
I think that's a sign.
Yeah, so it's definitely really cohesive about all the themes. I think throughout the album kind of really reside with this title. Yeah.
So as for features, I've always really wanted to team up with a lot of the vocalists of bands we've toured with and become friends with, and that's still something I really want to do. But it's really interesting, on the last record I said the same thing, and yet I wasn't willing to give anything to someone else to represent.
I think we just wanted that to be us, that record as well.
That felt like we found ourselves, that record. And, it's similar story this time where It's really, really personal, and everything I say comes from my opinion or my, I don't know, it's something that I experienced firsthand. I don't hear something and go, how can I twist that and make it mine? So I find it really hard to share my parts, but it's definitely something I want to do in the future, and I think it'll probably have to come from a collaborative writing process, not something that was really personal and then given away. So we'll see what happens in the future.
All right, so
neither yes or no. We really flirted
I'm
around
sure you
that.
can figure out what the answer is. Sorry.
Lastly, what is your favorite song off the record? If you just say the name, you don't need to off the new record. And then also, where can fans find you all after this All-Time Low tour?
We can't give a title away, but I mean, there's this song that we wrote we were jamming in a place called Coventry in the UK, and it started off with this riff, and then Matt was playing drums to it, and then we demoed it up on the bus, and we did that. The chorus took a while to get, and then that was it. We just finished the song. That was it, and I didn't even think anything of the song. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't think it was that great. And then we showed David Bendeth, and we showed another writer that we were working with, who we really respected, and they were just like, I think this is going to be your biggest song. And we were like, what? I didn't even think about it going on the album. Like, I loved it, but I didn't think it was like, but I didn't think it was that.
Yeah.
And so we rewrote that chorus a little bit. We rewrote the pre, and now that's definitely, I think that's my favorite song. But I can't say the title.
Sorry, we're being very private. That's fine. It's early stages. My favorite song is about asking for, not asking for freedom, but asking for the space to have your freedom. And I think it's a topic that goes throughout the whole record, really.
Yeah.
And it's kind of about following your intuition and listening to the voice in your head, and not just saying, like, give me a break. It's like, actually, if you're feeling something that deeply and seriously, take it on board and make some decisions based on that. So there's a few songs that talk about, listening to yourself and listening to your body and requesting everyone to piss off and give me some space because I need it right now. So that's exciting.
That's so unlike you.
So lastly, guys, where can fans find you all after this All-Time Low tour?
Look, I think we are going to take some time for ourselves. We really want to get this album right, so we haven't really booked anything after. We really want to get the mix right. I want to be there for the mix, and I think so. We're just really solidifying this album, and then we'll see where that takes us. I can't really say much more than that. But
we're already talking about where we want to be next year and what tours we're trying to put together, and just ideas for the future. But it's not sure when the future starts. You know what I mean?
We haven't finished the album yet. So
and that's the priority. That's kind of what we were talking about with putting touring second. Album's coming first at the moment. Yeah.
No worries. All right, well, guys, make sure to check out Tonight Alive on the Future Hearts tour and coming to a city near you. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
That concludes the interview, and this is Keim Interviews. Take it easy, guys. Peace out.